Yeah. CL. Yeah. Yes, sir. Them other guys ain't got no style. We know what's up before it go down. This is the rundown. This is the rundown. If you ain't know the deal, I bet you know now. This is the fans' voice. You hear them vocals. This what the people need and what they want now. This is the rundown. This is the rundown. If you ain't know the deal, I bet you this is the rundown. If you ain't know the deal, this is the rundown. This is the rundown.
Y'all know what time. Y'all know what time. Y'all know what time. It's the rundown, about to go down. It's the rundown. No, we ain't in it yet. No, we ain't in it yet. It's the Rundown Sports. It's your homie CL, and you know that is of course. Hey. What's happening, people? What's going down? What up, duck? It's the homie CL, and I'm back on the Rundown Sports Podcast. Gotta know that. And I'd like to thank all y'all for coming and joining me, however you're joining me. Hopefully it's through DaRundown.com. That's DaRundown.com. Gotta know it. And we are the new voice in Atlanta sports and hip hop. You can get there right here. There right here. Free every time it come out. Subscribe on iTunes, YouTube. Oh yes, and we about to be on the Stitcher Radio. Gotta know it. So I hope y'all enjoying these podcasts we've been doing. I just recently did one with Keith Nelson of Culture to Prove, and we did some sports, we did some hip hop, real good stuff, man. If you in the podcast, you listen to that Jalen and Jacoby show, they did the hip hop bracket, and we broke that down, talked about Outkast winning, even talking about the finale that they about to put on. And we just got all over the place, but we're gonna pop off a thing I'm trying to do at least once a week, where I get my boy Dave Choate on the line to come talk some Falcons before it go down. We didn't catch them last week. They had that Thursday game. It is what it is. But ain't no telling, man. It's pretty much a dry week when it comes to the Falcons news. So I don't know. We might get into a little bit of everything. Who knows? But if I know Dave, he up for anything. All right. Joining me today on the Rundown Sports Podcast, gotta know that, is a friend of mine. Y'all know already, Dave Choate from the Falcoholic. What's going on, Dave?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you coming on, man. And got you via Skype. You sound a little better now.
I do. I cleared up my voice a little bit, I guess.
That what's up, man. So everything been going good with you over there at the Falcoholic?
Yeah, it's going well. Feeling good about the Falcons right now, which is a nice change of pace.
Okay. No overreaction from that last win, 14-56.
Trying not to. I mean, you look at that Buccaneers team and they're a mess. They're a big mess. I didn't expect them to be anywhere near this bad, but it's hard to get too excited right now about that win. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was great, but I don't know that you can take too much away from it.
Yeah, you're right about that, because I'm about to say, unless you just had all the Atlanta Falcons on your fantasy team, it really ain't make a difference.
No, we got a couple of people that do have just Falcons on their fantasy team, though. They did have a nice week.
Yeah, well, you know me, I'm a Saints fan at heart, so I don't really fool with no Falcons at all on my fantasy team. I feel like it might be bad luck, so I don't
blame you.
I don't get caught in that. Now, a couple things did happen Thursday night that piqued my ears. One, the Devin Hester breaking Deion record while he was in the house. And I'm about to say, I don't know what type of league everybody else play in, but I got a league where, special teams get you points for your man, whether it's a touchdown or not. So I think going forward from what I see, like the 4 wide receiver sets for Devin Hester, I think it might work out to where he's probably the number 3 instead of Harry Douglas. I don't know, man. What's your 2 takes on them things, man? What I guess I can say, shout out to Devin Hester, man. You're probably the best to ever do it.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome to watch. I mean, not only just seeing him break that record and just scoring all kinds of different ways, like that reverse out of the backfield was great, but special teams is where he makes his money, and having Deion Sanders in the house, they had that great post-game interview. Like, that was a cool thing to see. And I'm really surprised, I think, so far at Devin Hester and just what he's been able to do for the offense, because my expectations were low. I mean, we all saw what he did in Chicago for the last 4 or 5 years, and it was nothing on offense, and it's looking like maybe Chicago just didn't know what to do with him, because he looks great so far. And, I think you're absolutely right. I don't know if you can count on him to score every week, but the special teams value there, if you got a scoring format or a special teams format, anything like that, he's definitely the number 3 guy. And if Roddy's not healthy, maybe he's even number 2.
Now, Roddy said he playing Sunday, right?
Yes. Yeah, he said that. And I think he's going to. I do.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you watched the game on TV, correct?
Yes.
Does Phil Simms ruin the games for you sometimes?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of great announcers, man, but he gets on my nerves.
Twitter be letting him have it. Straight up. I had did a search of it. I wanted to do a little post. I decided not to because I know it'll come back up again. As long as there's an NFL season and Phil Simms is calling games. But, yeah, he do say some ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't seem to be watching the game.
Saying obvious things.
Sometimes, some of the things. Yeah.
I mean,
things that are maybe happening on a different football field in a different universe somewhere else. I don't know.
It's not there. I'm going to have to bring that up another time because that's like a whole subject in of itself. Like, why CBS and Fox, pick certain anchors to be their number ones. If they was really honest with themselves, they probably would be doing some reshuffling. But,
yeah, I think.
I ain't gonna bog that down, man. Let's keep it back on the Falcons. I don't know what we're gonna call this thing when we start doing it every week. I don't know if it's gonna be the Falcons Corner or the Fast Falcon. I don't know. Come up with some fancy name. But right now, I guess we can go right ahead and talk about the next game coming up, which is at the Vikings. Couple things I'm concerned with, and I guess we can go back to the fantasy angle. What's going on with the running back situation? Because I thought Devontae Freeman might separate himself, but it seems that he's hitting that rookie curve already. I know Smith just went down. Rodgers still not looking dependable. And, of course, Steven Jackson, I don't know. He looking old right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I mean, it's, if you're playing fantasy, with running backs, the last thing you want to hear is a committee. The really last thing you want to hear is a committee with 4 guys in. And I think that, Steven Jackson's been fine, but you'd expect him to have scored more by now. They're not really putting the ball in his hands when they get close.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers hasn't done much of anything. Freeman was disappointing. I figured he's not going to get on the field for a while, because they worry about him fumbling. He can't pass protect yet, but, he got all those carries in garbage time and just didn't do much with them. So I think that's a setback for him. I look at that and I say, hey, the only two guys I want to own are Steven Jackson, just because he gets the most carries. He's still the goal line guy. And then I'm probably going to own Smith because the guy seems to be good for a score every game or two. But, he's only doing it on 3 to 5 to maybe 6 touches. So
yeah, that's a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah, it's a big gamble. There's nobody reliable in that whole committee, and that's the thing. If you're a fantasy guy, you stay away. Just go with another team's running backs.
Yeah, I told you, I don't mess with them Falcons, not at all.
Yeah,
but,
not even Julio.
Nah, I mean, if I have my choice between Julio and AJ Green, I'm going AJ Green. Put it like that.
I can understand it. I respect it.
All right, now this is Teddy Bridgewater's first start. What do you think the Falcons are going to be trying to do to confuse the young boy?
I think they're hoping they're going to be able to get some pressure on him. I think it's, it hasn't really worked for him so far this year. They finally did it against the Buccaneers. It worked a little bit, which was good. It was good to see, but, you got to be skeptical because we all know what the Buccaneers are like. And I don't think the Vikings have a great offensive line, but, I think really the game plan is just going to be get after him, hit him, hope he turns the ball over, and hope that, he can't get it to Cordell Patterson because that's the only guy that I'm really, really worried about coming into this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Saints played him last week, and I really wasn't expecting them to do much, but he was a concern. It looks like without Adrian Peterson, that attack is just not going to be there. I think that team is built around having the threat of, having that running back there. So you got to stack the box. You ain't got to stack the box against Minnesota. It's going to be easy. Easy pickings.
It looked like that. I mean, look at the Saints, the defense finally got back on track.
I gotta see what's going on with the Saints offense. Something is not right. That's because I don't know if you got a chance to peep that game out, but it shouldn't have been as close as it was. That was disheartening as a Saints fan, but I guess if you're a Falcons fan, you kind of like what you see and you just hope it continues.
That's accurate, I can't deny that.
No.
But it is kind of odd to see Breeze and Brady kind of looking a little bit old at the same time. You don't expect to see that.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm out of sync with that because Brady, even though I don't really like the Patriots too much, Brady still went to Michigan. So shout out to him for that. I don't like this. I wasn't ready to see him go down in flames yet. I want to talk to you about Bill Simmons. We got a few minutes left, but I'm looking at the Falcons schedule. And you still sitting on like 9-7?
Yeah, I haven't moved yet. I think, I didn't expect them to win the 2 games the way they did. I didn't expect them to blow out the Buccaneers. I didn't expect them to look that bad against the Bengals, but they've won the games I thought they'd win. They've lost the game I thought they'd lose so far. So, I'm looking at it as I can see them, having some road bumps against a team like the Giants, who, I'm looking over at the TV right now. They're up 14-0. But, I do think this is a 9-7 team. They got the offense to do better than that, but I'm going to need to see more from the defense before I can go higher.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and what I do is I judge it by quarterback, and you got Giants. I'm still like about just because of the whole team. I mean, like you said, they up right now, but it's Thursday night. I don't even care what happens on Thursday nights. But you got after that, you got Jay Cutler, Joe Flacco, Matt Stafford, and the Bucs. Well, that'll be a win. And then I don't know what to think about Carolina. How concerned are you that around that time in the season, Carolina might be coming into shape?
I'm worried about it. I think I probably put them a little bit lower than most people did at the bottom of the division, 7-9. And I still think that's possible because they don't They don't have a ton of receivers. They still.
Oh, that
really
boy
have
Benjamin looking alright.
he looks amazing. Yeah, he's it. He's all they got far. That's been good enough. And I've been impressed. It's Aaron, I worry about the Panthers. They got a tough defense, and the Falcons, Panthers have played them tough, always played them tough. So I'd rather be meeting them now where they're sorting things out, but we don't get to choose.
Yeah, I know that, man. Now, before we got on air, I mentioned the Bill Simmons story. I'm guessing you listen to the BS Report too.
Yep.
One of my favorite podcasts. Shout out to Grantland and everybody over there. Jalen Jacoby, Papa Trunk, hit the deck. Y'all know what it is. But your boy got in a little bit of trouble. Bill Simmons, he really got fly with his mouth. Dared ESPN to suspend him because he was going off on a commissioner, and nothing he was saying was wrong. Everything he was correct about is just, I guess, the way he said it. I don't understand it. What's your take on it, man?
The only thing I can figure, listening to it and looking at it, is, he was saying to ESPN basically, go ahead, call me out, do something to me, suspend me. And I think that, the network being the network, they don't take kindly to that kind of stuff. But there was nothing wrong with what he was saying. It's something everybody's been saying for the last month, which is that Goodell's done a terrible job, which he has. He doesn't know what he's doing, which he doesn't. And, he's a liar, which is what he called him. And, I see no evidence that the guy did anything but lie. So it's disappointing that, on one hand, you're defending him for going after the commissioner, which is what everybody else is doing and everybody else should be doing. Or you're suspending him because he kind of sort of said something about the network he works for, about the ESPN brand. And either way, that's just not something you suspend a guy 3 weeks over.
Yeah, man. I'm like, I need my BS report. That's one of them type of podcasts that I know me and you can really relate to because he's coming from that same perspective. He, is a fan and is really passionate and educated about what he talks about. And, he comes off in a real clever, witty way. And I don't know. It seems like ESPN, it's like they give him the leash, but every time he gets a little bit too out there, they got to go and reprimand him and put him away in the closet. I'm real curious to see how this relationship turns out, for the next few years. Because, I know they're funding it right now and they're greenlighting everything, but I don't know. If he gets it big enough, I could see him moving on at some point.
Yeah, and, maybe he should. I'd hate to see anything happen to Grantland because I love Grantland. The podcasts are great. The articles are great. It's a lot of good stuff on there. So, you'd hope he could take it with him in some form, but it's one of those things. At some point, he's going to get tired of it. And I think that he knows he can make his money another way too. Maybe it's a little bit less, but you can only take being, suspended and slapped on the wrist for stuff that isn't even a big deal for so long.
Uh-huh. Yeah, man, it's interesting because, they just got on Stephen A. a few weeks ago, and that was from Michelle Beadle, a fellow ESPN employee coming. She wasn't coming at him, but she was just, disagreeing with the guy. I don't know. They got some things to sort out over there at the Worldwide Leader. I ain't gonna beat up on them, man. Before we get out of here, anything you want to send the people to?
Yeah, we're on the site. We just had a great interview with Mike Ken, who's up for the Hall of Fame this year. And, really great player, one of the best tackles in history, if you ask me. So that's a good read. That's on the site right now, www.thefalcoholic.com. And, if you want to follow us during the game on Sunday for a lot of really, really lame jokes, at the Falcoholic.
All right, man. Yeah, I hear that. Y'all come follow my boy Dave Choate on the Falcoholic. Hey man, I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Always a good time.
All right, that was Dave Choate from the Falcoholic. Shout out to him coming through, kicking it with your boy, giving y'all Falcons weekly. We're gonna try to do this at least once a week with Dave. You know, things happen. If not, we're gonna do at least something once a week with the Falcons though. Cause the boy's spinning off in a new direction. Y'all can keep up with what we're doing over here on DaRundown.com, DA. I'm gonna get up out of here. This is at DaRundown Sports on Twitter, and I am at CL the Main Event on Twitter. Gotta know that. And I'm out here. Peace. Hey.